What is up, everybody? Cornucopia of Craziness back here again. Last night, I saw the movie Suicide Squad, which is part of the DC Extended Universe. And you may have heard that it got a rating of 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really, really bad. Like, any movie that has, like close to a 20% is almost, really, really terrible. Or, has, very mixed reviews, leaning towards negative. But this movie doesn't justify that. Unfortunately. Because this movie was awesome. It was so freaking good when I saw it. And I was happy that I saw it. It was so worth the money. That movie does not deserve 26%. It deserves way, way higher. And again, I'm happy that I saw it because it was so good. Now, just because it was good doesn't mean there was any negative. There was not any negatives. This movie did in fact have some negatives and some positives too, really, really big positives. But I will go over both the positives and the negatives today because, as you see from the title of this video, this is going to be a review of Suicide Squad. Now, let's get on with it. First of all, Deadshot and Harley Quinn, best characters in the whole movie. Deadshot easily was one of the most developed characters in the whole movie. I think that they did a really good job with this character. They made us have an emotional connection with him, with his daughter. And it made everything make a little more sense. Because, he's trying to fight for his daughter, but at the same time, he has to commit to this job of being a hitman. And just being a complete bad guy. He doesn't kill women and children because he knows that, in a sense, he would be killing his daughter. So, I like that. I liked his character a lot. Same thing with Harley Quinn. Her backstory, also really interesting. Her and the Joker. And I'll talk about the Joker later. I have very interesting thoughts about him. But Harley Quinn also did a really good job. She was really, really true to the character. Played by Margot Robbie, who was also in Wolf of Wall Street. She did a really, really good job. It felt so true to the character. And her jokes, the jokes that she made in between the movies, her little quips, were hilarious. I liked Harley Quinn. Plus, she was hot too. She's hot, and the movie really Michael Bay'd her a little bit, showing her butt and her boobs and all that stuff. They really Michael Bay'd her, but that's not a big issue. You kind of expected that with Margot Robbie. Yeah, and the end battle with the villain, which I won't get into right now, by the way, I forgot to mention, just before I started talking about Deadshot and Harley, this review will be full of spoilers, so if you don't want to watch this right now, if you haven't seen Suicide Squad yet, please leave this video, and after you watch the movie, come back here. The huge battle at the end with the villain was really tense. You really felt something was going to happen. They showed flashbacks of their previous life and what could be if they were to follow her orders, which, by the way, the villain is a she. And you feel so much tension because so much is going on. There's way more tension than there was in Batman vs. Superman, which the scene with Doomsday in that movie, they had no tension at all. It was just a big villain they had to fight. But this had a little more. But speaking of the villain, here's my first negative. Enchantress, or the Witch, as some people call her, had no build-up whatsoever. Her story, I didn't understand why she was going after these people, or the humans. There was no setup to that. It was just nothing. The brother thing was a little weird. It was complicated. I couldn't understand it. They didn't build it up at all. And Joker should have been the villain. Because Joker, Joker's easy. That's probably why they didn't do him. But Joker would have been so much better because Joker, you understand him more. Joker, it's not such a complicated story. It's not such a mythology. But they picked Enchantress, and she was alright. If they build her up a little more, have her become one of the artifacts at the beginning, put her in the artifact at the beginning, like it would have been more interesting, but they just explained her backstory with like really really weak exposition. At least that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else saw like better exposition with her, but I think her exposition was weak. Um, Killer Croc and Katana, they were kind of just there. Like they didn't do much. Killer Croc, I could barely understand his voice. He was kind of like Bane from Dark Knight Rises, where you couldn't understand him at all. Like, I'm sitting in the theater and I'm listening to Killer Croc talk. I'm like, what? What did he just say? Like in the first few minutes that he was in the movie, I couldn't understand a word that he was saying. And Katana, her character would have been so much better had they actually like shown her husband dying, or like shown why, or explained to us why she needs to have vengeance against her husband's killer, like why she needs to cry to the sword or talk to the sword or whatever it was. Like, it would have been so much better if they actually had set up tension for her character, but they don't at all. And and along with Killer Croc, she feels really shoehorned in. One character that I did not really expect to be good was Jai Courtney's character. I thought Jai Courtney, ever since they announced him, was going to be terrible. Because I've heard Jai Courtney in his other roles, and by the way, I did see him in Terminator Genisys. That was awful. I thought Jai Courtney was going to be boring, just like the rest of his movies were. Like, I thought that he was going to be just the pits of the movie. Like, I thought he was going to be terrible. But, surprisingly, Jai Courtney actually did a really good job. I thought he was kind of funny. Like, his character may have been an exaggerated Australian, but, you know, what can you do? And he is actually Australian, so it kind of fit to his real-life persona. Yeah, I did not expect Boomerang to be that good. I thought he was just going to be like a little background character that they're going to bring in every once in a while. But he was so good in that movie. What can I talk about next? Oh, yeah. For now, let's talk about the Joker. Honestly, guys, I have mixed feelings about Jared Leto's Joker. I really do. Like, for one, it's cool that he's there because, you know, he's the Joker. He's the main villain of at least the Batman series. And it's cool to see the Joker there, you know, because the Joker is one of the best characters in the whole comic book, like, lore, DC comic book lore, or any sort of comic book lore. He's influenced so many villains. But Jared Leto performing him, oh my god, I just couldn't see Jared Leto as being the Joker now. Because what they did with him was they made him play like really, really over the top and overacted. And this didn't seem like the Joker to me. Like, I know he has the laugh, and the laugh was pretty good though. But the thing that made the Joker what he is that he's funny. And that he's very, very psychological, but they didn't do that here. He was just like, I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad. Like, it was just like so over the top, and he was like smiling the whole time like this. Look at me, moviegoers. I'm crazy. You know what? I'm freaking crazy. That was his performance the whole time. Just look at me, I'm crazy. Ha ha ha. That's what I didn't like about Jared Leto's Joker. But admittedly, his performance got a little better during the second half. And the flashback scenes that we had the Joker in, like those little flashback scenes at the beginning where they told everybody's backstory, I did not like the editing in those backstories. Like, they were ruined by the fact that they were really, really jumpy in terms of editing. Like, you'd have, like, one part, you'd be going like this. And one part, you'd be going like this. And then this. And then this. And then this. And then this. Like, it was so annoying how the camera kept, like, jumping in between, like, scenes. Like, that was really, really annoying. But, oh, I'm almost forgetting to mention, Batman does make cameo appearances in this movie, and those scenes, obviously because I'm a really big Batman fan, they're awesome. Batman does so much in this movie, even though he's only in it for, like, at least less than a minute. Because he does so much more than what you think he does, even when he has a cameo. Batman is more of a symbol in this movie. He's more of a symbol of something that the criminals hate. Like, a symbol in the city. Like, I love the scene in the beginning with Deadshot and Batman where Batman's about to apprehend Deadshot, and he's beating him up in the alley while his daughter's watching, and he's like, you don't want your daughter to see you like this. Like, I thought that was so cool, because Batman actually kind of cares about his criminals a little bit. Because he knows that Deadshot has a daughter. He knows that Deadshot is trying to make a good impression on her daughter, so she will go with him to live with him. And then Batman, of course, with the Joker and Harley thing, where he jumps on the car and he chases them, that's cool too. And surprisingly, I did not expect this part. Batman actually kisses Harley Quinn, like after he rescues her. I did not expect that. And then, of course, he apprehends her. But, oh yeah. Like, I was about to go into the after credit scene for a second there, and one other person that I wanted to talk about who is actually in the after credit scene is Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller is probably the most badass character, the badass, like, female leader of a government organization that I've ever seen. Like, I thought she would be, going into this movie, I thought she'd be, like, just some generic government leader that, like, controls everybody, like, tells everybody what to do. But no. They make her way more interesting than that. Like, she actually, like, has a personality. She will do anything that it takes. She almost has no remorse. Like, she will do anything to make a job go well. She kills people who she thinks knows their information but shouldn't. And I like her. I like Amanda Waller's character. Because she was so much more than what I expected her to be. And she was so intimidating to everybody on screen. And to everybody watching in the theater. Like, she was kind of bitchy at times, but she was cool. I liked her. Going back to the after credit scene, or I'm now to talk about the after credit scene. The after credit scene basically was Bruce Wayne and Amanda Waller setting up the Justice League, which is kind of the follow-up to Suicide Squad. Like, the team is the follow-up to Suicide Squad, not the movie. The next movie that's going to come out is Wonder Woman. I don't know if I'm going to see that or not. I'm not really, like, a big fan of Wonder Woman. I've never really read any Wonder Woman comics. I don't know what they're going to do with her. Wonder Woman was kind of good in Batman vs. Superman. But I don't know if I want to really see that. But yeah. They set up the Justice League, which looks to be awesome. Superman's going to come back for that. And that's basically it. That's my review of Suicide Squad. I thought it was a really good movie. There were some things that brought it down just slightly. And my official rating for this movie, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was good. You, the audience on YouTube, you guys should go and watch this movie. See it for yourself. Don't listen to the reviewers. Don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Just go and watch this movie for yourself and see what your opinion of it is. Like, it's not like one of those movies where Rotten Tomatoes justifies what you think of the movie, like Independence Day was, because Independence Day was terrible and it deserved that rating that he got of 31. But this movie doesn't deserve it at all. You should go see it for yourself. And that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10, which would equal a 70%. Because this movie was awesome. Besides the little things that brought it down a little bit. Alright guys, that is my review. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Peace out.